All right, guys, if you're thinking about moving to Costa Rica, living in Costa Rica, making a life in Costa Rica, before you come, I know what you're thinking. I know what your concern is. How do we find a long-term rental? Because when you land on that plane, you know you're coming to another country. You want to have a place to stay, right? All right, I've done this video before, a couple times before, but I'm updating it now. There's going to be some new information in here. So if you're thinking about Costa Rica and you want to know all about finding a long-term rental, I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to do it walking around my little neighborhood in La Fortuna, so you don't have to look at my mug the whole time. All right, so let's turn this around and start walking. This is my little house. You should have seen it before in some other videos. It's been kind of raining. All right, real quick, I am Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Hey guys, what's coming up is yours truly will be speaking at a relocation retreat. So if Costa Rica is on your map, you want to make absolutely sure that Costa Rica is right for you. Come to the 7-day seminar, and I can guarantee 100% by the time it's over, you will know if Costa Rica is right for you. We'll be telling you the good, the bad, the ugly about living here. Nobody's going to try to sell you anything. I would love to meet you guys, love to hang out by the pool. I'll answer all your questions. I know hacks of the hacks. I'll try to talk you out of it. All right, so all that information, or the link to all that information, is down below in the description. I would love to see you there. The next one is in early March, next month. And if you're seeing this video a little later, just check down below in the description and see when the next retreat is coming up. All right, so we're in my little barrio. All right, so let's lay a couple rules first. Let me turn this back around. I do not find long-term rentals. Let me say that again. I do not find long-term rentals, so don't ask me. And I'll kind of tell you why as we continue on. All right. I bet you'd never find this. This isn't a hostel. There's about, I don't know, maybe 3 different types of families that live here, and they come in and out. They live here for a few months and leave. This is actually a rental property. I'm not saying you want to stay here, you know, but I'm just saying these are some of the options you just would never know about. And maybe that fits somebody's option. Who knows? All right, so 1 to 3 months really is not considered a long-term rental, really. In that regard, you're still going to be in Airbnb territory. All right, so when you go, so long-term is basically, let's think, you know, at least 6 months to a year. All right, 1, 2, 3 months again is Airbnb territory. So you're gonna have to be checking stuff on Airbnb if you're just thinking about a month or so. I know that because we get a lot of that, 1 or 2 months, and I know, you know, D'Angelo has his rentals by the park out there, really nice little studios, and a lot of times he rents those out for 2 and 3 months at a time. But you would find him really through Airbnb if you didn't know. You know, we have a channel and stuff, but if you didn't know, that would be an Airbnb thing. Let's go down here. Okay. The other thing you have to, you're moving to another country. You gringos, man. I know I'm one too, I can say that. You know, you got to quit being so particular. All right, that's you know, when somebody has a place and you start going, well, you know, I'm really looking for something in Burberry walls or something crazy. You know, you're never going to find the perfect place here. You have to know that. Never. Not in buying a house and not in a rental. You're going to have to compromise to some degree. When you start saying, I want this, I want that, I got to have this. If it's there, I'm not doing it. If I see a bug, I'm not doing it. You're never going to find a place, okay? You should also know that most people that first rent get gringo priced. They just do. I think this video can save you from that. But most people, including yours truly, you just get gringo price. No, actually I didn't. I don't think we did. But usually the first rental you get is gringo priced, which means you're paying more than you typically should. There's a lot of reasons for that, and I have those videos. A really good video, and I'm going to put this in the link in the description as well. I did a video about, I think it's called "Did He Get Gringo Price?" And I actually go into somebody's apartment and I guess I tell him what he should pay, and he tells me what he is paying, and I see if he was gringo price. And there's a lot of information in that video as well. So that's a good video, and the link will be in the description. Contracts. A lot of people, oh, what about contracts? They do contracts here, and you should know that renters have a lot of rights here, a lot of rights. So you're good that way. You're good that way. Typically, contracts long-term are for 3 years. And if you really wanted to stand your ground and get a lawyer and they tried to kick you out, you could probably, even without a contract, you could probably win if you really wanted to go to all that trouble, which I definitely wouldn't recommend. But they do contracts here. I've never really, I think maybe one time I had a contract, but typically, I've never really signed contracts for rentals. The one I've been in now for 6 years I do not have a contract for that. You can get one. Now, San Jose, that might be a different story. The area, the city, maybe that's a regular thing that everybody has contracts. But maybe in some of these other beach towns and towns like La Fortuna, Tico towns, some people have them, some people don't. But you can certainly get them. And remember, they got to be in Spanish to be legal. Now, what happened? Because it used to be really fairly easy to find a long-term rental here. It was. Now, what happened, and you can probably guess, the reason it's harder is because of Airbnb. Airbnb messed up everything, especially Fortuna. So what happened was, since now everybody and their mother, their grandmother have an Airbnb, whether it's a room in their house, it's called an Airbnb. A lot of hotels, when they have those little cabinas, let's say there's somebody owns 10 cabinas on a property, they can put each one of those on Airbnb. I don't think you're supposed to do that, but they do it anyway. So again, Airbnb has kind of taken over, so everything is an Airbnb. Little park here in our little barrio. Now there are people here, wouldn't be me, but there are people here that will find you longer term rentals. But they basically have to do what you would have to do. It is not easy to find rentals here, but there are companies, I guess, that do that, and those usually are Airbnbs as well. And if you do get somebody like that to help you, this is where don't be particular, don't be a bitch, because they're going to say, hey, here's this house that you said you wanted 2 bedroom, you said you wanted to be here, you want to be there. It's not like they got a million houses, you know, that you can pick from. So don't be super particular if you're getting somebody to help you out. Unless you're paying way high end, then I guess, you know, you want what you want, right? But most of you, like me, you know, maybe aren't looking for high end stuff all the time. So again, if you are using somebody that does that or will do that for you, it's not going to work if you're going to be super particular. Before I forget, a lot of you guys want to come down here, build a house, and actually have little cabinas or little rentals on your property. Little advice on those. There's so many of those now. The ones that do the best tend to be high-end Airbnbs. There are a million Airbnbs that are, you know, let's say $35 a night. They have air conditioning, and that's what drove the prices down of people's rental properties and even their Airbnbs. It got saturated in most places. So if you're going to start your own Airbnbs, I would recommend that you might as well sink some money in it and have a good one, and it probably should have a pool if you want to do well. And if you're going to have a few on your property, I would probably consider making them longer term rentals as opposed really to even Airbnbs. Airbnb, if you've ever run an Airbnb, it is not that fun, guys. I quit doing it and I was making money on it. So comment below if you rent out Airbnbs. I personally don't like it at all, but that's me. All right, so you're thinking of Costa Rica, it's on your map. What do you do? How do you find this if you're not having somebody do it for you? Well, the first thing you can do when you figure out where you think you might want to be, go to the back pages. Listen to what I said, the back pages of Airbnb, and maybe you pick one of those places you're actually going to stay, and maybe you're gonna go in that area and you're gonna stay at this particular Airbnb for, let's say, 2 weeks, okay? So you get to the area, let's just pretend it's here, let's pretend it's Fortuna. You start walking around. The reason you want to start at the back pages of Airbnb, because there's so many Airbnbs, it's not like they all do good, all right? And maybe that place that you happen to pick, maybe you start talking to them, maybe they're looking for a long-term renter. Trust me, had a lot of people do it that way or find their place that way. I know D'Angelo in his place a couple times has let people, when it worked out, stay, you know, rent for 6 months. So maybe that person's like, hey, I don't really rent my Airbnb that much, so I'm all about it. Yeah, so do that. But okay, so if that doesn't work out, go in the area, again, let's say La Fortuna, walk around. When you're at the bar, talk to the bartenders. When you're at the restaurant, talk to the waitresses and the waiters. See if they know anybody that has a place to rent. At the gym, if you're at the gym, at the store, anywhere you are, ask people. Because here's the thing, Ticos aren't always the best marketers, all right? So a lot of people are on Airbnb, but a lot of people aren't. I guarantee, see all these, actually almost all these places I've been walking past, this one included, rent. Now, are they on Airbnb? Probably. But look, I guarantee those aren't all full, all right? So, talk to people. They have a grandmother, they have an uncle, they have somebody that might have a house in the back, you know, or a room. You just never know, and that's how you find them. So sometimes it's the back pages of Airbnb, and sometimes it's just you talk to people, be assertive. Everywhere you go, just go, hey man, you know anybody that's renting a place? You know, you just never know. And you can usually get a pretty good price if they don't normally rent it. So the other thing you can do is, okay, so you like La Fortuna, but you can't find anything. Everything's rented. And when you do find them, it's kind of high. So what do? So you can also go, you know, if you just go a couple miles outside of town, there's a town not too far called Los Angeles here. There's El Bosque here. You just go outside, a little bit outside of La Fortuna, you can find some rentals half the price. Now, yes, you would need a car. You would need a car for those types of places, you know, to be convenient. But you can find really good deals just a little bit outside of these towns. Even beach towns, you know, even expensive beach towns, usually a mile or two off the beach, That's where the Ticos live. You can definitely find cheaper rentals there if you want. When you find a place that is renting, they have a phone number. You do not want to go up to the place. You do not want to make the call. You're going to have to try to find a trusted Tico friend, acquaintance, somebody that you hopefully can halfway trust to make that call to see how much the rent is. All right, you do not want to do it yourself. Trust me, you are a gringo. They know you are. They know you don't know stuff, you know? So trust me when I tell you, have somebody that can make that call for you. See the volcano right there. So here, they really haven't got the memo. They just keep, like, this is new. They're just building this. Guaranteed this is going to be some sort of there it is, Casita Fortuna downtown. Who knows, is that a long-term rental? Is it going to be Airbnb? Is it going to be both? And that's my other suggestion. I don't know if where you are they have these, and I'm probably not saying it right, but apart hotels where there are apartments and a hotel. So there's a lot of those places, like let's say again here in Fortuna, you could go to those and maybe you're just looking for a room for a while. Maybe you don't need any, you're not looking anything permanent, but maybe something for 3, 4, 5 months because you want to, like, you know, learn the area, go around the area, but you don't necessarily know if you want to put down anything serious there. Those aparta hotels might be an option, right? So you go up to those. Again, get a Tico to get the price for you though. I tell you, okay, this barrio is not that big. I think it's about 5 streets this length or so going that way. I don't know. And I'll bet you there's 30 Airbnbs back in here at least. And don't underestimate that thing I said, you know, and some of these aren't on Airbnb. Maybe they just rent to locals, or they don't really know how to market, or it's, you know, that's where you can find some pretty good deals. Those houses I live at, those 4 that I've talked about a lot, he hasn't raised the rent in a long time, and they're pretty cheap. Mine's $230 a month, and I think the other 3 that live by me, since they're Ticos, I think theirs is actually a little less than mine. So you guys can do this. You really can do this yourself. If I know it can be like, oh my God, it's another country. Oh, do I really go up to somebody? Do I ask? Do I start talking? How do I do this? You can do it. Step out of your comfort zone. Step out of your comfort zone, and you're going to be surprised at the people you meet. Surprised, well, you won't be surprised how nice they are, surprised how much they want to help, surprised how many people might go, yeah, I know where you could rent. I'm going to say it again. I said it earlier, but it is really a really good option that a lot of people just don't think about. Really go outside just a little bit of the area you think you want to be in, and you can find things for like literally half the price. Now you might be substituting. There may not be the biggest grocery store out there all the time, maybe not the, you know, clinic right there. It's going to be close to things, but maybe not as close as you want. But it's definitely if you're looking to save a little money or don't want to, you know, spend an arm and a leg, it might be a great option just to go outside of whatever town you're thinking about. Remember, when I do these videos, a lot of times I'm not really talking about San Jose. That is the city. and I'm sure things are done just a little bit different there. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of buildings that are just pure, you know, rental properties, but you know, a lot of people don't really want to, you know, live in San Jose. All right, guys, if you have any questions about this, I'm sure I've missed things. I usually do. I would appreciate anybody that lives here. Comment, please comment. If you've got some tips that I've, again, missed, I appreciate that, because, and I know the people, you know, looking at this, you can do it, man. You really can come out here and find a place yourself. All right, I'm gonna go back home, eat some lunch. I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps. Things are going to pop up. Always do your homework and research, thinking about living or traveling anywhere. And if it's Costa Rica, I'm going to put our videos up with anybody's. So check those out. Ciao.